welcome back or welcome to my channel. Today is another paint, makeup, and chat. But we're not painting with watercolors. We are painting digitally, and I'm really excited about it. I haven't done a digital painting video on YouTube in a long time. Today we are painting Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance. And because that is the subject of our painting, I figured I would go ahead and do the makeup look that I wore when I went to their concert back in 2022. This is basically the makeup look that I did. I think I added slightly more glitter this time, or I think I went like a little lower down. It's just a fun, smoky, dark, but glittery kind of look. Kind of looks like I'm crying glitter, and I sort of wish that that was a thing. Oh. Aww. Okay.
So, oh, nice. You okay?
Yeah, why?
Oh, because the sparkly thing on your cheek looked like you had a tear coming down.
Ah, what did I say? But if you like these types of videos where I do my makeup while there's a painting going on, I chat with you guys, if you like vlog style videos, or if you like to just see the painting themselves, I do all those types of videos. Plus, I've got lots of new stuff coming up, including how I draw like digital portraits and how I typically go about drawing portraits, as well as how my entire coloring process for my digital portraits. And of course, you also see my whole process for my watercolor paintings. But I have lots of actual like deep dive how-tos, how I do things types of videos coming up really soon. So make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss out. Hit the bell button, like this video. Is that all? If I get this video up when it's supposed to be going up, happy Halloween, you guys. I hope you guys have a really fun, really spectacular, really spooky, really cute and silly Halloween. And stay safe out there. Seriously, stay safe. Okay? Keep your eyes peeled. Also, what's your favorite kind of candy? Like, what was your favorite Halloween candy to get? Reese's is my top, but then Butterfinger, Kit Kats, and you know what? I just really love candy. What's your favorite Halloween candy? Or what's your favorite candy in general? Anyway, yeah, so hope you have a wonderful Halloween. Hope you had a wonderful, All right, it is time to, and let's get started. Luckily, this is not necessarily a makeup channel. I'm just doing my makeup while I'm talking to you guys, but the lighting is not gonna be consistent because it's like the sun is going in and out of the clouds, and there's not really a lot I can do about that. So this is the makeup look that I did when I went to go see My Chemical Romance back in 2022. This was whenever they were supposed to tour in 2020. And we had like gotten the tickets for it, and then obviously, for very obvious reasons, the concert didn't happen, so they had to postpone their tour, and it wasn't until 2022. It was like really weird. It was one of those moments when we finally were going that I was thinking back to how old I was and what life was like the year we were originally supposed to go, and I felt so much older even though only 2 years had passed. I felt like I had lived so much longer at that point when we actually did go to the concert from the time that we bought the tickets 2 years earlier. I feel like there are those times in your life where a year or two in age doesn't really make a huge difference. And then there are those times in life where a year or two in age makes all the difference. It's really odd. By the time we were actually like sitting in our seats, which, fun fact, were almost the exact same seats that I saw Fall Out Boy in. The concert was amazing, obviously. They really do put on an amazing show. And you know how some bands, they will do something on the album. They'll make a certain noise, they'll do a certain sound, they'll do something specific with their voice, or they'll just add in a little like fun thing, like they say something in it or whatever on the CD, and then you go see them in concert and they don't they don't say it, they don't sing it that way, they don't add that little sound effect, they don't do it the way you hear it on the album. And it's like you've heard the album all this time, and like, so that's like a part of the song, and then they don't do it, and you're like, oh, I was like actually really looking forward to seeing you do it live. Well, they do it. Like, I really assumed that there would be, you know, a lot of things that were just kind of, they did it in the recording booth, but then never did it live, you know? And I can't even think of like a good example of that. All I know is that, you know, there are those like iconic like sounds, things that My Chemical Romance does on their songs on the album that I kind of thought like, okay, I won't get my hopes up. They probably won't do that live, or he won't sing it exactly like that live. He won't hit that note live because he's got to like take care of his voice. No, he did it all. They did it all. They did, I mean, like, you are hearing all of the songs from the albums, but live, like exactly how you hear them on the CD. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm not making sense. All I'm saying is My Chemical Romance did not disappoint whatsoever. In fact, they like exceeded all expectations, and I was expecting to have an amazing time, but I had like a fantastically amazing, wonderful, best time ever time. Definitely a top experience for me. I don't go to many concerts. I'm not a big concert goer. I think I really, really, really have to like be obsessed with them to spend the money on tickets and take on the stress of getting there and getting in line and making sure you have the tickets and getting to your seat, and just all of that is like, that's the kind of thing that just stresses me out to the point that it's not even worth it. I get insanely carsick, y'all. Getting carsick is something that affects me a lot, and it affects a lot of the things that I do, and it actually is a huge like way that I make decisions. Before I was even, you know, in kindergarten, every single year, like clockwork, at the same time on our car ride to my grandparents' house, I'd throw up all over myself. My mom every year would have to bring an extra pair or an extra set of clothes because she knew I was gonna get sick at the same place at the same time every year. And I think, you know, we all assumed it was one of those things that, you know, I would grow out of. I think a lot of people do grow out of their car sickness. Not me. Not me. It's so bad, I can even make myself sick behind the wheel. Usually when you're in control of something, you'll be fine. And it's whenever you're in the passenger seat, and especially when you're in the back seat, the sickness comes on. No, I can get sick in the driver's seat. Now, it doesn't happen nearly as often. Usually I drive. Anytime Jacob and I are going somewhere, I usually drive. There were 2 different jobs that I had where I had to drive an hour to an hour and a half each way. So obviously I would get stuck in really heavy, awful traffic, especially on my way home from work. And that was usually when I would make myself sick, because that constant stop and go is what really gets me. Twists and turns and like lots of hilly things, that gets me really sick too. But I think a big part of that is because if you're turning a whole lot, you're having to slow down a whole lot. And so it's the constant like, I think it's the stop and go that makes me so sick. Even then, I have experienced car sickness, even with just like a straight drive there, no stopping. It's embarrassing, especially when I don't know somebody very well and I have to tell them like, yeah, so like I get really sick, can I sit next to you? And it's just like, I mean, I'm used to it now. I will say when I was younger, I would just accept being sick. It was awful. I was younger, I was dumb. I didn't have the confidence or the courage to tell somebody, because I don't know, I think I didn't want them like concerned. I didn't want them to feel annoyed. I didn't want them to feel like I was a burden on them. And so I just would like suck it up. And now looking back, it's like, Leslie, why did you care? Like, why did you feel so embarrassed? I remember one time going to the state fair with my friend, and I was sitting all the way in the back with her because I was a little kid and I thought that that would be fun, and I didn't even think about being carsick. Well, as soon as we got to the state fair, they took me over to some bushes because there wasn't a bathroom anywhere, and I like leaned over them and started like dry heaving into the bushes. That was really embarrassing. So I don't like long drives anywhere, and where I live, typically the concerts or any kind of like big event that you buy tickets for, it's like an hour away. And so I have to really consider, like, do I really want to go? Do I really want to see these people? Can I live without it? Because the getting there is so bad that a lot of things aren't worth it, you know? They don't really have a lot of super great things to help with car sickness. Yeah, they have Dramamine. Whoop-de-doo. Even the less version. Even now, I could be wrong, and there could be a non-drowsy version that I have no idea exists, but the only Dramamine that I've ever been able to find is the regular kind and less drowsy. So if there's a less drowsy kind, that means that the regular kind is drowsy, you know, basically. But even the less drowsy kind, last time I took it, every single time I take it, it knocks me out. And the last time I took it, when we got home, I was knocked out in a deep sleep for a few hours. So drowsy when I woke up. And then even the next day, after sleeping through the night, the next day, all day long, I felt so exhausted and drained, and I just could not, even though it wasn't necessarily like I can't keep my eyes open, it was like, it felt like my brain had just shut off and nothing was working, and all I could do was just lay there. And I do have like these wristband things, and it's like those pressure point things. There's like a pressure point here that I learned, okay, if you ever get sick to your stomach, if you're like me and you're just sitting there, I can get sick to my stomach sitting at my desk. And that happened at work a lot. I don't know why. I mean, I can drink so much water, I can take breaks from looking at the screen, but I'll go through phases where I'll be sitting at my work desk and I just suddenly, like, nausea washes over me and there's nothing that will stop it. But you can, I think it's 3 fingers. You take 3 fingers from where your wrist bends. You start your 3 fingers there. And then where your index finger is, that's the pressure point that if you press on that, it'll kind of help alleviate some of the nausea and kind of, it's not necessarily it makes the nausea go away, but it kind of just like, I don't know, it almost feels like it just kind of like a numbness rushes over. There's a tip from me if you suffer from random nausea like me. And I've been like this all my life. This isn't something that just randomly started. It's been like this forever, as long as I can remember. And so I have these like wristbands that have this like thing that will press into that spot. And they do help, they really do help. But again, they are not a cure. So yeah, I haven't gone to many concerts in my life. That's how we went to that, was because getting there is a pain in the butt. Well, it's a pain in my stomach, and it's not a pain, it's a sickness. It's a sickness in my stomach. First concert I ever went to was Jonas Brothers, and then I went to another Jonas Brothers concert, And then I've been to Warped Tour a couple of times, maybe a few times, I can't remember. And then Fall Out Boy. I saw Our Last Night. Okay, if you've never listened to Our Last Night, they're fantastic, okay? And they don't only do covers, but one of the things that they're really popular for are their covers. If you're not a huge fan of metal music, they are still really fun, you know? And I have a lot of friends that are not into metal at all, not into that at all, and I get that. But I showed them some of the covers and they were like, I love this. So I think a lot of people would appreciate Our Last Night. And they were awesome in concert. They were really fun. I saw them at Warped Tour and they were amazing. And I also saw them just like in their own concert. And My Chemical Romance. They were the last concert I went to. And if that's the last concert I ever go to in my life, it was a good final farewell to live music. What's the last concert you went to? Curious. Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know in the comments below if you get sick like me. Do you deal with really, really bad car sickness? What's crazy is I don't really, knock on wood, get sick on airplanes. You would think I would. Maybe it's that I'm so terrified that I can't get sick because I'm like way too scared. I've started to get slightly sick, but I think it was more from like a claustrophobia kind of thing. And also it was a very, very bumpy plane ride. I hate airports, I hate them. They're so chaotic and hectic and I never know what I'm doing. I just let Jacob take control. So if I ever have to fly somewhere by myself, oh man, that's gonna be bad. It's pretty much just, if I have to like, you know, put a lot of effort into getting somewhere, I'm probably just not gonna go. But I'm a homebody anyway, so it all works out. So we have a new cat. If you follow me over on Instagram, which is at luru.studios, you should go follow me over there. I had kind of shown a little bit of my Sunday with a cat. So basically, all summer long, I had been feeding a mama cat and her 2 kittens. Now this mama cat, I was feeding last year when she was a kitten and her mom would bring her around. So it was like this orange mom cat and a calico kitten would come around and I would feed the calico kitten tuna. Then she disappeared and I really assumed like, oh, the kitten's probably dead. And then this year, we saw her all grown up being little Miss Mom, and she had 2 babies of her own, and it was a gray kitten and an orange kitten. We started leaving food out for them, and then one day the orange kitten stopped showing up, and I don't want to think about it, so we're not going to talk about it, but it ended up just being the mama calico cat and her gray kitten. And so eventually I got to the point where I could set the food down and then sit next, or like sit a little ways from the food bowl, and the mom and kitten would come up and eat. But you know, if I like breathed the wrong way, they would like run off. And then I started to notice that the mom was kind of acting a little like towards the kitten. So I could tell like, oh, I think it's about that age where the mom, you know, leaves the kitten to do her own thing, you know, and the kitten is just living life on its own. And it was just the kitten that started coming around. And the mom would come around later, but every single morning I would go out and the kitten would be waiting for me, and I could like call the kitten and it would come running for the food. So then eventually I got to the point where I would sit right next to the food bowl while she ate. And then I worked up to petting her and she would purr instantly. Then one day I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna steal you. So, got a crate, took it outside, put some tuna inside the crate, and then when she was all the way in there, closed it up, took her into our bathroom. It was a Sunday, so the vet wasn't open. So I would just go in there and I would take a book in there and I'd read it out loud. Just to like get her used to my voice. And then I'd pet her whenever I felt like she was okay with being pet. That night, she'd come up and just like dive her face into mine and like rub it real hard, like rub her nose and her mouth all over me, rub her head all over my face. It was so sweet, but it was the longest 2 days ever. I got a vet appointment the next day. I called them as soon as they opened and I was like, can we make a vet appointment like as soon as y'all are available? So I was able to get her in that next afternoon. Every bad thing was popping into my head. What if she has feline leukemia? Like we have Ricky and Rhodey, so we already have this other cat, and even though Rhodey is vaccinated, there's still a small chance that they could get feline leukemia from another cat. It was really, really scary thinking, oh my gosh, like what if I've gotten so attached to this cat, which my fault. I knew when I started feeding them. I knew I was making a mistake. You're feeding these cats and you're gonna get attached. No matter what happens, your heart is gonna like be broken. But I couldn't stop. I could not stop. But I was so scared that like after getting so attached to this kitten, especially when she was like rubbing her face and her head all over me and purring so loudly, they were gonna either say that she's sick or that she has something that my other cat could get, so like can't really keep her, which in that case I would have tried to actually specifically find someone to take her in. I didn't really see it an option to just take her to a shelter. Like I wanted to be able to find somebody for her immediately. But I was so worried. I did not want to have to do that. And then we didn't. Took her to the vet. She was totally healthy. Didn't even have fleas on her. Y'all, she was a stray kitten and she didn't even have fleas. I can't tell for sure. Her mom is definitely a calico, but I don't know who the father is. I've seen like all kinds of cats around here. I know there's a big orange cat, there's a big tabby cat, there's a big, solid, beautiful black cat, but she's either a dilute calico or a dilute tortie. I don't know, because anytime I read into it, I start getting really confused because one site will describe them one way and another site will describe them another way, and then it'll have pictures and this cat looks like our cat, but then that cat looks like our cat too. We have been trying to think of some names because I only ever called her, like anytime I went outside and called for her to feed her, I'd just call her babies. Jacob and I had just been like looking for like kind of magical or celestial, witchy, cosmic kind of names for her, and he actually brought up the name Rune, and I liked it, and then I kind of didn't like it. Some time went on and the more I thought about it, it just seemed fitting. Whether she is mixed with calico or tortie, it's said in different cultures to bring good fortune, good luck, resembles like bringing protection. In Japan, they would actually have those cats on ships with them because they were said to protect them from shipwrecks, protection from storms, and just stuff like that. So I thought, you know, that's kind of perfect with the name Rune. Her name is Rune. I really like messy, smudgy, messed up makeup looks. I like it when it looks like somebody's had a full face of makeup and they've been like crying or rained on and it's all like smeared and smudged everywhere. I just think it looks so fun. So, and also it kind of fits the vibe of My Chemical Romance, I guess. And what's perfect is this is the Urban Decay Heavy Metal glitter gel. Not that My Chemical Romance is heavy metal, but it's got its elements. I think basically the actual gel part has completely dried up and now it's just the glitter, but I'm gonna try. Like like I did it way down. Cause see, when it hits the right light, it looks like glittery tears. Okay. Should I do some in the inner corner? No. Okay, yeah. The gel part is like gone. I do love glitter. Oh my goodness. Look how fabulous that looks. Oh, oh my gosh. Jacob is a voiceover artist, voice actor. When he's in a session in his booth, I have to like really make sure that Ricky does not make a sound because she is a very reactive dog. I'm gonna go put on mascara and we'll get this all finished. All right. Mascara is on and we are done with our My Chemical Romance concert look. I don't know if I put on this much glitter. I kind of couldn't stop once I started putting it on this time. Finished look. This is the kind of makeup that I like to put on my mascara as like chunky and sloppily as possible because I feel like that just adds to like the messiness of the look. I really, really hope that you guys had fun watching me draw Gerard Way, seeing my digital art process, which I will be doing a video very soon, actually like talking out my entire process when it comes to how I draw digitally and how I create my portraits and all of that. So that will be coming very soon. I hope you had fun doing some makeup, drawing some things. Make sure you like this video. It really, really does help this channel. It helps me and it just makes me happy to know that you liked this video. Subscribe if you're not already, and let me know in the comments down below, what was the last concert that you went to? Have you seen My Chemical Romance in concert and what did you think? And do you get super, super car sick like me? All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Love ya! Bye, love ya.